We are now joined by Mr. R Chandrasekhar, President at Nasscom, who's joining us now. Mr. Chandrasekhar, the visa issue and the fact that, a lot of social security benefits Indian workers who go to work for Indian technology firms in the US, they don't get. All these issues were not addressed. Is this good news or are you hoping that these issues will get addressed quickly enough in the months to come?
Well, I think, we should look at this in the current context, which is that at this particular moment, there is no specific movement on the immigration legislation in the US. But I think that we can certainly take heart and derive a lot of satisfaction from the fact that these issues were apparently taken up quite vigorously in the discussions. It's reflected in the comments of the Prime Minister after the dialogue. It's also reflected in the joint statement, because the Prime Minister said that he had seen the interest of President Obama in maintaining continued ease of access of the Indian services industry to the US market. Both the leaders also recognized the contribution of the IT and ITES industry to the trade between the two countries. Right. So I think coming as this does, as very clear and definitive statements, and earlier the statement when John Kerry had visited India as well, I think these issues are very much on the table. They have been flagged and they have been reflected. So we are quite hopeful that this certainly will keep the momentum on these issues. Nasscom has been advocating on all these issues,
right,
that the ease of doing business should remain, that these impediments should not come.
Right. Mr. Chandrasekhar, there was also an expectation building up that, Narendra Modi met with all leading business honchos there. There would be closer collaboration, or perhaps, between Silicon Valley and India's technology hubs, at least to try and give a boost to startups. Even that didn't come through. Is it not on the radar? Does it require the heads of governments to work on this? Can we expect something to happen there?
Well, I think this has been, in a sense, recognized in the joint statement also, especially the importance of innovation and the collaboration on innovation, which finds specific mention. We need to also keep in mind that the way things happen in this particular sector, a lot of it actually happens at the level of businesses, companies, venture capital funds, angel investors, and so on. And therefore, what I think the two leaders have stated provides the kind of ambience in which the industry and business can go about fostering innovation. It's not something which is architected and executed by the governments as such, but recognizing its importance and emphasizing that it is an important part of our economic relationship, I think does set both the tone and the context.
Right. Mr. Chandrasekhar, I would like to understand, ever since the new government has taken over, what's your assessment of the environment? Is it now conducive enough for these two big countries, to come back into that kind of a tie-up which probably Mr. Modi went there for, especially in the IT sector?
Yeah. Well, first to step back a little bit, I think this visit being the first visit by the Prime Minister after the new government has come in, I think the main purpose really was to put across the vision and the approach of this government and what its priorities were. and also the importance of the relationship with the US, which is the largest and the most powerful economy in the world. So putting that across and emphasizing the importance of that relationship and the importance of the IT sector within that relationship, I think was certainly something which was very important. The areas that have been identified also, other than just the IT, also have some significance and implications for the IT sector. For example, we've already talked about the innovation part of it. Then there is, on the higher education and skill development also, I think there is a support which has been conveyed in the joint statement. And we believe that in the context of creating skills within the country and enabling India to continue to be the global source for high-skilled people, that is important. The collaboration in the defense sector could open up other opportunities for the engineering and the R&D services within the IT industry. So all said and done, there are many such areas, I think, which find place here. This being the first visit and coming soon after the visit of the government, it may have been too much to expect that very, very large and specific things will happen here and now. But, and the second part is that a lot of this between India and the US happens at the business-to-business level. So all said and done, I think that it has certainly regenerated a certain amount of momentum, because the strategic partnership had, in a sense, languished over the last few years. And I think the purpose of this visit to reinvigorate that relationship to a large extent has been accomplished.
Right. So clearly this visit has regenerated the momentum between the two countries. But, lastly, before we let you go, in the next 6 months, say, for the IT sector in particular, what do you expect from the government? What are the key issues broadly, if you could give us, which the government should certainly focus on?
Well, I think, the government does need to focus on certain aspects of the whole ecosystem within India. In fact, we do have a roundtable planned with the, with the Minister for Finance, Commerce and Industry and Corporate Affairs and all the departments concerned, to look at some of the issues which need to be addressed in terms of funding, in terms of regulatory environment, in terms of compliance issues, in terms of procurement norms, and a whole set of such issues, registration of companies, closure of companies, filing of IPs and so on, which need to be addressed to make sure that this ecosystem in India is supportive of the startup companies and the innovative companies which are now springing up all over. And we should be very clear that this is happening all over the world, and therefore it's critical for us to do it. And there have been some disturbing signs in the past of number of companies moving out or getting registered elsewhere, and I think we need to take a cold hard look at these issues. So that is one part of it. The second is, as Digital India moves forward, this is again something which is a very exciting program where the government has really adopted a very visionary program. But as the details get spelled out, I think it's important to appreciate that scale and speed of a program of that nature, and for a country as big as India, can only be accomplished by the industry being fully on board. And there are various structural issues which will need to be addressed, procedural issues which will need to be addressed. For example, how procurement is done, what are the impediments, why a lot of companies have become a little reluctant to invest in e-governance projects. So these are all issues, I think, which will need to be addressed. But once, I think, as we go forward, if these issues are addressed, I think the future for the IT industry and for the whole startup ecosystem should be extremely bright.
Right. So clearly lots of issues out there which this new government has to address in the next 6 months. Thank you so much, Mr. Chandrasekhar, for joining us here on NDTV Profit. Pleasure talking to you. That's the view coming in from Nasscom about the IT space in particular.